Hey guys, Alex from LMU Academy here with another Le Mans Ultimate Fix Setup Lap Guide, this time in the Ferrari 296 GT3 at LUSAIL. As always, we'll cover the setup first, then cover each corner in slow time, followed by the pit entry, and then finally put the lap together for you in real time. So first, let's take a look at the setup, and remember that we're using the default setup for the car with some slight changes to the electronics and brakes, which means you can still use this setup and achieve this lap time in any race that forces the fixed setup to be used. Now we set a lap time of 156.5 using quali fuel with the medium tyre compound. Taking a look at the traction settings, we're using an overall TC value of 5, TC cut 5, and TC slip 5. Then onto the brakes, and we're using a brake bias of 47.2 on the front and 52.8 on the rear. We've got the ABS set to 9 as well as a max pedal force of 100%. Now that's covered, let's take a look at each corner in slow time. So for turn 1, we can place our left side tyres completely over the curb, but making sure to keep our right side tyres within the white line. Now our braking point is just in between the final two green Rolex boards on the left. We go hard on the brakes down to second gear, and as we reach the apex, we place our right side tyres over the red and white curb, but avoid the orange section past that. Now our throttle point is as this stand reaches the middle of the cockpit, and we apply the throttle smoothly while slowly straightening up the wheel. Then as we exit the corner, we allow the car to drift over to the exit curb on the left. Once we reach the curb, we immediately start moving the car over to the right, aiming for the red and white curb straight ahead. Now our next braking point is just as we reach the middle of the red and white curb, or just as this empty billboard reaches the right side of our cockpit. We go on the brakes about 70% down to second gear, and as we reach the apex, we place our left side tyres onto the red and white curb. Now a trick here as we apply the throttle is to continue to turn into the left and move the left side tyres onto the orange section. This will allow us to open up the corner more, which allows us to get back on the throttle earlier without having to worry about the car understeering into the gravel patch on the corner exit. Then as we reach the exit curb, we move over the left slightly to open up the next corner, and as we turn in, we can cut over the curb and place the right side tyres onto the orange section, which allows us to keep a tighter line and get the wheel straight sooner. Then as we exit, we place the car completely over the red and white curb, making sure we keep our right side tyres within the white line. Our next braking point is just between these two yellow DHL signs on the left. We go hard on the brakes down to third gear, and as we reach the apex, we place our right side tyres onto the orange section, making sure to keep our left side tyres within the white line. We then go back smoothly on the throttle and keep the wheel turned to the right, and the car should naturally understeer over to the exit curve on the left. Now our turning point for the next corner is as this dirt patch on the left here ends. We lift off the throttle and then allow the car to coast over to the next apex, applying a small amount of throttle if we feel the car's rear is starting to kick out. Then as we reach the apex, we can place the right side tyres onto the orange section, making sure to keep the left side tyres within the white line. As we reach the exit curb, we then move over to the right side of the track to prepare for the next braking point, which is just as we reach the blue Goodyear sign on the right or the white line next to it. We go hard on the brakes down to first gear, then as we reach the apex, we can place our left side tyres onto the red and white curb. Now we can see there's a very harsh bump on the apex curb here which unsettles the car, and we need to wait for the car to pass that bump before applying the throttle fully. Then as we apply the throttle smoothly, we straighten the wheel up, and we need to get the car over to the left side of the track as soon as possible to prepare for the next corner. Now we can place our left side tyres completely over the blue section, but keeping the right side tyres within the white line, and our braking point is just after the red and white Bosch board on the left. We go hard on the brakes initially down to second gear, but it's important to trail off early to carry more speed into the corner, and you can see that as we reach the curb, we're still travelling at 115 km per hour. As we reach the curb, we then coast towards the apex, applying a small amount of throttle if we feel the rear of the car starting to get loose. A trick here to open up our exit more is to place the right side tyres onto the blue section of tarmac, and our throttle point is just as this white building reaches the middle of our cockpit. We increase the throttle smoothly and straighten the wheel as we exit the corner to then line up the car with the red and white curb on the left. Then as we reach the curb, we place our car completely over the red and white curb, making sure we keep the right side tyres within the white line. Now we follow the shape of the curb, and our next braking point is hard to identify here, but using the orange crane as it reaches the left side of our cockpit can be consistent. We go on the brakes lightly about 15% and then turn in hard for the next apex. Then as we reach the apex, we place our right side tyres onto the blue section, but be careful not to touch the sand as it can unsettle the car. We then go back on the throttle but keep the wheel turned to the right and then aim the car towards the grey off-road on our right. Now our braking point is as our car reaches the white line. We go hard on the brakes down to second gear and then follow the white line ahead of us. Then as we reach this blue section of tarmac, we then turn in for the corner while still keeping the brakes at about 30%. As we reach the apex, we can place our right side tyres onto the edge of the red and white curb, and our throttle point is as this metal light pole reaches the middle of our cockpit. We go on the throttle smoothly and aim the car towards the red and white curb on the right, but we need to move off this curb as soon as possible because it's slippery and can cause the car's wheels to spin. We then move over to the curb on the left and follow its curve. Now we can place the car completely over the red and white curb, making sure we keep our right side tyres on the white line, and our next braking point is just as we reach the red motor board on the left. We go on the brakes about 30%, and as we reach the apex, we can place our right side tyres onto the orange section, but avoid the sand. Now it's important to listen to the car for this next set of corners, and if we feel the car is understeering at any point, then we need to lift off the throttle slightly to allow it to rotate. We go back on the throttle and place the left side tyres onto the red and white curb, then as we reach the end of this dirt patch, we apply the brakes about 10% and turn in for the next apex, placing our right side tyres onto the orange section. We go back on the throttle and again place the left side tyres onto the red and white curb, and then as we reach the end of the dirt patch, we tap the brakes about 20% down to third gear and turn in for the next apex, placing our right side tyres onto the orange section. We go back on the throttle, and as we reach the exit curb, we immediately move the car over to the right to prepare for the next corner, placing the car completely over the curb and keeping the left side tyres on the white line. Now our next braking point is just before the blue Michelin board on the right. We go on the brakes about 50%, but then trail off early to carry enough speed into the corner, placing our left side tyres onto the orange section of tarmac, but keeping the right side tyres within the white line. Then as we exit, we can use all of the red and white curb, but avoid the sand trap next to it. Now our final braking point is just in between the two Michelin boards on the left. We go hard on the brakes down to second gear, and as we reach the apex, we can place the right side tyres onto the red coloured section, making sure to keep the left side tyres within the white line. Now our throttle point here is as this building reaches the middle of our cockpit, and we go on the throttle smoothly and allow the car to drift over to the exit curb on the left. Then as we reach the curb, we can place the left side tyres onto the red section of tarmac, making sure we keep the right side tyres within the white line, and that completes the lap. Now let's take a look at the pit entry, and as we exit the final corner, we stay to the right side of the track to enter the pit entry lane. Our braking marker is just as we reach the white coloured barrier on the left. We go hard on the brakes before reaching first gear and 60 km just before the white line. So that was a lap at LUSAIL in the Ferrari 296 GT3, and I will put it all together and leave you with the entire lap in real time. Now if you've got any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and if you want to see more lap guides like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel or visit lmuacademy.com.